Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear teachers, dear parents and my dear friends, today I am going to tell you how did the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam took care of his daughters. There was a time in Arabia where faces would turn, where a birth of a daughter would bring silence to the house. Faces would turn dark with shamefulness, and some father would hide from the society, afraid of what the people would say in such a harsh world, where little girls were not welcomed but buried under the sands of ignorance. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a mercy to the mankind, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And one of the most beautiful chapters in his life was not in the battlefields, not in the gatherings of the kings, but in his house with his daughters. When the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was facing insults and stones at the streets of Mecca, a little girl would run up to him with tears in her eyes. Her name was Fatima radiallahu anhu, and she would wash the blood from his blessed face, and with her small hands, and he would look at her not with weakness but with love. In the eyes of the world, she was just a child, but in his eyes, she was the queen of Jannah in the making. People saw the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a leader, but those who came close knew him first as a father. When Fatima radiallahu anhu enters the room, he would rise for him. No, he would stand up, not as a prophet receiving a follower, but as a father honoring his child. And he would kiss her forehead and the seat where she was sitting, as if saying to the world, if you wish to know how Islam treats their daughters, then watch how I treat mine. It is said that when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked, she walked behind him with grace. When he sat, she sat beside him with dignity. She didn't grow up playing in comfort. She grew up wiping the wounds of a prophet. And yet she was never bitter, never broken, because her father, like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, built strength, not fear. Once the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam whispered to something Fatima radiallahu anhu's ear. She cried, and then he whispered again. Suddenly she smiled through her tears. After his passing, she revealed the secret that my father once told me that soon he will leave this world. So I cried. And then he whispered to me again that I will be the first one to meet him in Jannah. So I smiled. Even in his last days, his thought was not in the power or the throne. It was in his daughter's heart. He lived in a world where daughters were hidden, but yet he held theirs with pride. My dear friends, if we wish to follow this sunnah today, we must not speak justice. We must live it inside our homes. With this, I conclude my speech. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.